Hi, good morning. Welcome to another episode of All Things Coffee. It is a pretty early day for me. I'm going to get started with making a really special drink that I would usually make when I am low on energy. This should take a while. Let me turn this on. Now while that's heating up, let's get our coffee out. For today's video, we're going to be using the DF54. The DF54, a lot of you are very familiar with, especially for all those that are starting out with making coffee for the first time. I'm going to run through with you how you're going to be using the DF54. Watch this video. This is going to be like a tutorial. This is how I would actually use the 54 as a beginner, the kind of practices and hygienes that I would be practicing with the 54. I'm pretty sure that this grinder is not going to give me any issues. I'd be a lot more confident with working with the next few levels of grinders like the 64 Gen 2 or even the 83V. The first thing that's always important is how you use your device. There's always going to be like certain disciplines and steps that you need to follow. We like to call that grinder hygiene, and I'm going to show you how grinder hygiene doesn't necessarily mean keeping your grinder clean. It's also about how you actually use the grinder. Like, do you bellow? Do you do your quick shoot swipe up? Do you understand that your 54 is a lot more narrower and smaller and compact as compared to the others? This is the best grinder to work with as a beginner, and learn about the maintenance and the grinder hygiene that you need to practice in order to use it. Really early day. Let me get started with the drink. Alright, it is going to be an espresso drink. I am going to choose my coffee beans, and because it's a light roast, it's a lot harder. It's going to be a lot more intensive for the 54 to grind. So with that in mind, I have to be even more considerate and careful with my grinder hygiene and practices. Okay, so let me measure out my beans and I'm going to show you how I grind them. I have my digital coffee scale with me. You should get one so that you can measure out your beans. If you have a scale, that's great. If you don't, you can always get one from our website. It's always best to get it when you're purchasing a grinder as well. Now I'm going to zero it. I zero it by pressing the power button, which I think is quite universal across all all scales. Yeah, there you have it. It's zeroed. Now I'm going to pour out my beans. Okay. So over here I have roughly around 18.4 grams. I'm expected to get out 36.8. 36 is fine for me when I extract it from the espresso, but of course when I grind it out from my 54 over here, I'm just going to make sure that I get out 36.8 grams. When you are using a single dose grinder, for our set, our range, the recommended dosage is from 20 grams and below. Try to stick with that. If you're going anything more, be sure to be gentle with your grinder machines. Slowly trickle the beans in so that it doesn't overwork your grinder, doesn't apply too much pressure to the motor. The smaller the burr and the harder the beans, the more torque is required for the burrs to grind and crush these beans up. More pressure may inevitably lead to a choke. These grinders definitely can handle it, but please practice your grinder hygiene as well. If you practice your grinder hygiene, most likely the chances of chokes, clogs, or damage happening to your grinders are going to be slim to none. Once you measure this out in your own dosing cup, you can transfer it anywhere else. You can transfer it into a bowl or in a cup, whatever it is. You don't have to get an extra dosing cup. If you would like to, sure, go ahead. By all means, do it. Just a reminder that for all the grinders that you purchase, you're only getting one dosing cup. I have access to many. That's why I'm using more than one. But once you measure it out, you can store your beans anywhere you like. The next thing you're going to do is do a hot start. But before we do a hot start and before we start grinding, what we're going to do is the first step to our grinder hygiene, which is doing a quick shoot clean, okay? And usually when I recommend it to you guys to do a quick shoot clean, I'm telling you to just put the brush in gently and pull it out. You get rid of any of the unwanted residue in there. These residues are not the exact fine size grinds that you want in your coffee. No, these are just leftover residues, because at the end of the day you're still going to get out 18.4 grams or 18 grams or whatever dosage that you put in. You're going to get that exactly out, but you're still going to have a little bit of leftover residue in there. That's the thing that you want to clean out so that your shoot doesn't choke up easily, your consecutive grinds, and you don't stress out the ionizer as much. Ionizer getting coated by these residues increases its workload because it'll have to work a lot harder than usual to negate eliminate the static charge on the grinds that are coming out to prevent static grind retention. That's the reason why you have an anion generator. But yeah, fun fact, the 54 comes with an anion generator for its low price point. Meaning to say that you don't really have to do RDT for you to grind your beans. Now turn on the grinder, make sure you bellow out anything. Now for the extensive chute cleaning videos, only do that when your grinder is clogged up. That's what we would advise. Whenever a grinder gets clogged up, we'd advise you guys to do the extensive chute cleaning. So you open up the collar, the burr, just clean the burrs a bit, vacuum all the leftover grinds. There you have it, done. I've got like 18.4, 18.5 grams in there. So just take around 3 to 6 beans over here. That's close to 0.6 grams. What I'm going to do is I'm going to purge the grinder. First thing first, take out 3 beans. Now I've set it at a set scale of 11, 12, okay. Turn the grinder on. I'm going to purge it first. Turn the grinder off. There you go. Next, I like to pinch it to feel whether this is the right grind size for me. I would probably want to go down by 1 more. Might give me a strong extraction, slightly over extraction, but I'm fine. As long as it's not under extracted for me, I'm happy with that. So you let the grinder turn on first, and then you use 2 hands. It's not that easy to turn it with 1 hand. Turn it a little bit finer, a little coarser. It was at 12. I'll go to 11 for me, yeah. Next, right, when you set the set scale while the grinder is turned on, it's a lot more easier for you to move. A lot of you complain as to like, why am I not able to turn the collar where after I finish a grind to, you know, do my next grind? Reason is very simple. It's because your grinder is not turned on. That's why it's harder for you to move your collar. It's most likely because of the residue that was left over that's coating the burrs from your previous grind. That makes it harder for you to turn as well. When you have the grinder turned on, the burrs are moving. When the burrs are moving, you're also not forcing the burrs into place. It's moving. It's easier for you to adjust. It also purges out any like finer residue. You really can't see it when you do when you do it this way, but it's not easier for you to move. You do end up purging some of those like small residues, and then gives you a much more accurate set scale reading than you would if you were to do it with the grinder turned off. Okay, I'm going to purge again and I'm going to see whether this is too fine or just nice. Okay, this is perfect. Right, now what? We've done 3 grinds already. There you go. Pour your beans in while the grinder is turned on. I like to trickle mine in slowly. Put the lid back on. Yeah, okay, so the next one is the tamping and then getting out your espresso, right? Okay, so for the Gamilite over here, I've let it heat up for almost 10 plus minutes, which means your portafilter is nice and hot. The temperature that I set it at was 95 degrees. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, tempt it nice. That was tiring. So I made my espresso. Could have gone a little bit more finer. It's pretty great. Crema looks nice. So what I'm going to do now is just fill the glass with Coke. Then I pour my espresso over it. Ooh. As you can see, the crema's all over. The Coke foam. That's pretty great. So that's how you use the DF54, and this is the drink that I would usually make when I'm feeling tired. and I want to start off my day right with a bit of energy. Disclaimer, you might not be able to sleep early tonight. It's alright, tastes good. Gives you the much needed caffeine dose that you need to start off your day if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. So yeah, cheers to that. Yeah, that's good. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. And emphasis again, that's how you practice using the DF54. And once you're comfortable with that, try upgrading to a DF64 where you get access to all the SSP bursts, because the bursts start from the range of 64mm onwards. Yeah, let us know what you thought about this video in the comment section down below and what you want to see next. And until next time,